Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Robot Mentality Podcast, Season 2, Episode 6. Mr. Sailor, welcome
Robot
back.
mentality. We believe in actively living life, not just existing. We believe in holding ourselves to a high standard and taking responsibility for our decisions and actions. We believe that a life of productivity and discipline far exceeds a life of passivity and instant gratification. Robot mentality does not require that you agree with us. Rather, it requires that you know your values and program yourself to carry them out in your daily life. Side effects may include happiness, increased focus, women actually wanting to spread your seed, a sleep schedule, a sense of individuality. With that said, hello, Mr. Rudin.
Hello, Mr. Nailer. Welcome
That was a
back.
good
Welcome
intro.
back. That was a good
That was,
intro. It's like I'm
pumped me
throwing the
up.
punches to each bullet point. I love it.
Very nice,
Just
very nice.
rocking out through life.
Oh, anyway, this is we're back,
We're
episode
back.
6.
Another
Is that what
2-week
you said?
hiatus. Just kind of what
Yep.
we do at this point. Sometimes
And,
family matters pop up, but here we are. Right?
Family matters, important stuff. So, with all that being said, our first segment of the day is machine learning, and
Something a little
Ben has just
simple
been
today.
dying to talk about this. He's just-
Yeah, as I look like crap, look all gross right now, but hygiene. Okay, we've covered this before. Pet peeve of mine, right? Any person with any sanity should have good hygiene. Period. Okay, so that means showering every day, at least once. Okay, that means brushing your teeth twice a day. That means flossing before you brush your teeth every time, morning and night. And what else does this entail? I can't even think. I don't know. Just looking presentable. Okay, don't look gross all the time. Try to wear clothes that fit you at least once in a while instead of just trying to be comfortable. Make sure you brush your tongue. That's my biggest freaking pet peeve. If you have a dirty tongue, I don't want to talk to you. Seriously, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and I see stuff all over your tongue, I literally want to leave. I hate that so much. So, those are a couple things for me, personally. Wear deodorant, too. Please.
Yeah, that's important. I mean,
antibacterial soap as well. That's right.
there's so many. I don't know.
Wet wipes.
Wet wipes.
Yeah.
I backed off of that, which
Really?
I'm ashamed to admit.
Oh
They're
my
important,
gosh.
but now that I own my own house, I want to
You
be
don't want to
kind
blow
of
the sump pump, huh?
Yeah, so I should maybe get back into that, but it kind of helps. You need to, I'm just gonna say, it, men, you got to shave your ass quarterly. Just a quarterly ass.
Quarterly?
Don't do it all the time. That's
Quarterly.
weird,
The problem is that you start chafing, man. It's the
you can handle it
chafing.
for 3 days a quarter. It's worth it.
So is that really the routine?
I
For
might
the
be
manscaping every quarter. You got to do that part.
to shave your ass once a quarter. Quarterly ass shave. That's what I say.
You know what
But,
I hate? Well, I
what?
can't really grow facial hair. Like, if you give it a week, I'll have I get like a patch on my right side of my chin and jaw, and I could have a mustache if I wanted to. It wouldn't be a great one, but so I shave kind of every few days, right? But I hate because I do like if I gave it time, I do have hair on my chest that would be very visible, and I have the little happy trail on my belly button, right? And it goes down here. I have like a trail here straight down, right? But I honestly I shave my chest like once a week, honestly. I can't something about that I don't like yet, It makes you feel like a man when you got a little hair on your chest though, but
That's what I feel like. I like when I grow that stuff out. I was a little bit of a late bloomer, so every time I see a new hair somewhere, I'm like, okay.
But the thing is, I'm kind of the same way where I'm like, oh, I could actually grow that out and it would be okay. It wouldn't look like a freak. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, then I'm gonna get to the point where I have so much hair on my damn chest that I'm gonna wish it was gone, Because it comes to that point eventually when you're freaking 30 probably that.
I mean,
Here's getting your chest waxed. So
another important thing, men, trim your armpits.
Yeah, definitely.
Hair is what stinks. Hair stinks.
Mhm.
Hair traps the stink from the sweat. So
Yeah.
if you don't have hair, it's a lot easier to get clean.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. No, for real. And one thing I use, it's called Remedy soap. Okay, that's the brand I found on Amazon. It's like this antimicrobial soap. Okay, and I sweat a lot. I do hot yoga. Okay, and then that also has loosened my pores. So when I'm working out, I sweat a good amount. Even when I'm in the sun now, I just start sweating because when my body feels heat, I start sweating. And not that I ever like had any problems with like body odor or something like that, but I have not had that smell on me. I wash my armpits with that every day. It is magic. I've done it for years. I have not smelled like that in a long time. And sometimes I'll smell bad from just being sweaty in general. Like I'll smell bad, but I like that really strong smell that people get. I don't have that anymore from
That
this
BO
soap. It has
smell.
worked wonders. You just lose a little drop. It goes a long way. Bottle lasts me a long time. It's beautiful. So
I
and
have
you
a
could use that on the man areas too, and it just keeps you
well,
fresh, you know.
that
So,
brings up another point. Us gentlemen get roasted by women on social media for using like 3-in-1 and stuff, and I don't really do that anymore. But
mhm.
I have some good friends that I go out and visit in Denver, and they literally have one thing in their shower, and it's like this like 13-in-1. It's called like I don't know his
13
name. It's
and
like
one.
it's like Dr. Erlenmeyer or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Dr. Myers maybe. And it literally like listed off. It's like used for shampoo, face wash.
that's
You
hilarious.
can put some in the dishwasher and it's dish soap.
That's
Like,
god tier. Yeah, that
so
is
I just
funny.
it's like this real minty smell, and I just dump a bunch and like anoint my head with it and let
Mm.
it all fall where it may.
Okay,
But
biggest question here: bar soap or body wash?
body
Gotta be
wash.
body wash. Gotta be
Yeah,
body wash.
I feel like bar soap dries you out. I've used
It's so disgusting. It really does dry you out. It makes your skin feel rubbery. It's not good for your skin either. I'm surprised that's still really a thing. I know there's
grossly
brands that
enough,
don't, but mainstream soap really does.
like the Dial or what, or
Yeah,
Irish Spring. That's the brand I
dial.
like to get. If this is kind of gross, but like when I was like in some sports, like especially in high school, like we were in, we all shared locker room and stuff, and
Hmm.
I got ringworm once, and like sometimes I'll like think I'll be getting ringworm like on my upper arms, so then
Yeah.
I get bar soap and just like scrub the crap out of myself, and that
Which
dries me out.
clarification for people: a lot think ringworm is actually a worm. It's not, is it? There's no worm involved.
No, it's just like
It's just a skin condition.
a little like small ring, a red ring you get on yourself. That's
Yeah.
like a infection, I believe, and it's fungal infection.
Yeah, there was a time when I actually thought that meant like you had worms on you a while back. I didn't realize until I actually somebody had it and I knew and I kind of found out what it was. But that's one of
So
those things you hear. Like I had turf toe not that long ago, and that was like that sucked for a couple weeks. And that's not it's nothing to do with like it's just when you blow out the ligament in your toe. It's nothing to do with anything. It's just called that like it's not some fungus or something. It's just called that because it was from football players kind of coined the term because how you'd put pressure on your foot in a cleat on a turf field, like the amount of give on a turf field could actually injure that ligament really easily. So it's called turf toe. And that's like a thing, you know. But
more
people
you
think
know.
the name's gross, which it kind of is a weird name, but
So here's another thing I'm thinking though, like on the hygiene topic, and this isn't hygiene, this is more like germ type stuff. And I won't go on my rant about how I don't get sick anymore, just because I'll do
that's
that
when you'll
another
get
time
sick.
when I have more
Yeah.
time. But like, where does so like I used to never drink tap water. Now
Yeah.
I drink.
Okay,
Now I
that's the
drink tap
interesting
water,
side of it. So
right?
I will. I mean, I don't know. I probably shouldn't. Our fridge is filtered, so I always kind of drink from that. But occasionally I do tap. At yoga, I do the tap there, like after class, because we don't have a water fountain or anything.
It's like it's a little
I don't.
disturbing,
It's a little bit disturbing, but you have
but
to
I do it.
realize little microorganisms are in pretty much everything you eat and drink. You can't avoid it, especially fruits and vegetables. If you actually broke down, I mean, there's even like tiny little microscopic bugs in a lot of fruits that we still eat, and you just gotta not think about it. You know, it's not something that will hurt you 99.9% of the time. So
Right? Yeah,
it
that's
is
the thing.
gross,
Like,
especially some tap you could like see in your cup, like what is this shit? Like that's when I won't drink it if it looks like there's stuff in it. But
yeah, no, like tap and like just like less like cleanliest things. Like so, like I'll reuse like I won't. Oh, I just had a moth. That's anyway. Yeah, I guess my room ain't that clean. I got a moth in it. But no, like I'll like reuse dishes or something. Like I'll like just like kind of rinse them off and like stuff like that. But like I think that's less because I try to tell myself it's not because I'm gross. It's just because like I'm not really scared of whatever like germs are from like my leftover like scrambled eggs. Like I don't think I need
yeah,
to like run it through the dishwasher. I'd
I
rather.
can't say I reuse dishes. I don't know. If it's something, a dish I just had out a little bit ago, maybe. Usually I'll just grab a new one though. But if it's something I ate like that didn't leave a bunch of residue on the plate and you can just rinse it off and it looks completely fine, then I don't care. So if you rinse it off and there's still stuff all over the plate though, that's not happening for me at
Well, no, I
least.
don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying like maybe I won't use like soap or something. That's like the main.
Yeah.
Like I think with those sort of things, like that's more of like a germy type thing. I think like the less afraid you are of germs, the less you need to be afraid of them. Like if you've never touched
Yeah.
a germ your whole life, like maybe tap water or something be bad for you. But if you kind of just like do it, yeah, it's gonna like make
Well,
like people
that
say like build your immune system.
yeah,
And
that's the thing exactly. It does build your immune system. The more you expose your body to anything, whether it be physical touch or airborne, something viral or physical germs, that's actually how your body builds up immunity. The strongest people, immunity wise, are typically those that are always outside, always around other people, always in new places because you're encountering new things. So
right. So I mean the
you're
crossover to
strengthening
hygiene.
yourself by reusing your dish, my guy.
And I think I want to throw out the disclaimer, like we crossed over hygiene and like germ type things, but like
That is high.
don't, you can't like give yourself some like complex like, oh, I don't like I don't put deodorant on because I'm like living with my germs to be healthier. Like
Yeah.
might be a little more
No.
natural.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
like chicks with
Your
like
germs don't
armpit
count. If it's produced by your body, it ain't helping you being exposed to it. So that's just bad. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that just don't wear deodorant very blatantly and are proud of that, which I
There's
hate.
some smelly people, and yeah,
Yeah.
just I don't know. Take care of
There's some
yourself.
really smelly
Have clean
people.
skin.
I'll tell you
Feel
after.
good to like have brushed teeth and
It
stuff.
feels so good to have brushed teeth. And Listerine, you use mouthwash?
No, I think that's
Damn.
a scam.
Dude, I have to use mouthwash or I feel disgusting. I have to, especially because I put my retainers in every night too, and I will rinse them off with mouthwash, right, as well. And I have to. I was out of mouthwash the past few nights, and it's so gross. I really do feel so much cleaner. My teeth. Maybe it's in my head. I don't know. It definitely cleans your tongue well,
It
though.
definitely feels
Mouthwash.
clean. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's got to do something. I also do think like
I mean, you're not swallowing. It's mostly alcohol, so it is sterilizing your mouth. I mean, it's practically straight up alcohol, but
yeah, I think there's also something to be said for like people that like just brush. I bet you can just brush your teeth with water and wash your body with water, and you'll like kind of be fine too. Like I don't know.
yeah, like I mean, a lot of time they say even after meals, like if you can't brush, because technically you're encouraged to brush like after every meal. Some dentists will say, some don't. But a lot of dentists will always encourage to just rinse with water after you eat something whenever. Like just because it cleans between your teeth briefly, gets some stuff that off your teeth that then can't settle in throughout the next few hours, you know. So yeah, I think you probably could brush with water and be kind of fine because I don't know if toothpaste does as much as people think, and I think fluoride's kind of a scam of a compound, but I mean it
An
does.
element.
But
I think fluoride is an element.
yeah, or element, yeah, whatever it is. And so I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't do that though. I'd rather just use toothpaste. But
Yeah, feels fresh.
the
But anyway,
name of the game is brush your tongue. If I see you with a dirty tongue, I don't want to be around you. Okay, moving on.
I haven't brushed my tongue since 2020.
Really?
Nah,
Really?
I should. I just don't even think about that.
Oh
my parents.
God. Well,
Shame on you.
I don't think your tongue is dirty. Tongue check.
I have a really short tongue. Like I can't even stick my tongue out.
I'm tongue tied. I can't get it out.
That string that hangs is like too far up. I like can't even like stick
Are you
my tongue
tongue-tied?
out. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I went. I
Yeah.
just can't see it on the thing under goes too far.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I mean,
I'm
like,
very tongue tied. Yeah.
I can speak, but like I can't stick
I
my
have a
tongue.
slight like I do. Well, I don't know if I do. I subconsciously feel like I do. I was always told I was gonna have a really bad lisp because I have tongue tied, but nobody's pointed out to me, so I don't feel like I do. But
I think you're safe. Anyway,
okay, yeah, we'll go on. We'll go on. Bizarre headlines. Favorite segment ever right here. Right, this is
Honestly,
the
you carry
big
it.
money hitter, and my boy Naylor he doesn't have the content. He doesn't have the juice.
I can't live up to the stuff
So
that you
I
bring.
have to continue to carry here, but I'm gonna go ahead and stream my screen. Okay, starting. This wants to pull up this. Need to pull up this. Sorry, I have my taskbar down, so it's not picking up all my stuff now. Okay, number one. this makes me just cringe that this is a conversation, and this isn't satire as well. Okay, so we're gonna go live on this one just to see the article from Vogue. Vogue's best content right here. Vogue
There you go.
UK edition. Is having a baby in 2021 pure environmental vandalism? Mr. Sailor, is it? Are humans
Absolutely
complete
not.
parasites?
No, and well, I mean, we are. I mean, that's kind of the idea, but it's also the whole point. So, like, I've seen kind of not people blatantly saying this, but like, women, our age, young ladies will say, I don't why, yeah, I don't want to bring a baby into this world, or there's that. I can kind of
Well,
understand that, but yeah,
from an
you don't want to
environmental standpoint,
from
or from a standpoint like the world
wow.
is F, so I don't want to produce something
More
that
of
has to
that,
live
but
through
I
that.
think I have seen maybe two posts kind of more like on this end. It's like, don't blame you not being able to find a partner
On
you want to
yeah,
have a child with
yeah,
when you're 22 and say you don't want kids.
yeah, yeah. This is just
Um,
yeah. Sorry, go on.
that's the. I mean, I get what they're saying. People are the
I
ones
don't.
destroying the world, so blah blah blah. But like, evidently, like, yeah. So let's just not have any babies, and we'll all die. Like, go
Yeah.
forth. We're multiplying. We're following out the Great Commission or whatever it's called.
Well, the problem is this gets no. We need to do a whole podcast on that. Really, we need to talk about the whole climate change narrative that's going on right now,
Yeah.
environmental narrative, and kind of the hypocrisy of happening things wrong with that. But this gets into the territory of like, if no matter what religion you are, if you're some sort of religion that believes in a God and you believe that God created the universe, and thus you are a human being that is given forth the task to reproduce the world. Pretty much in every major religion, that's the case. Okay, if you're an atheist, you believe that evolution, out of the numbers beyond the possibilities of our brain of outcomes that could have happened for the Earth in the current time, you evolved to be a human being. Okay, and evolution chose you, and it chose you to keep reproducing. So no matter what your like worldview is, I just think this is a very bad take in any circumstance, because I mean the idea, like, we're here, humans exist, and you have to keep having babies to keep existing. So the idea that we're just parasites to the world, too many people focus on this rather than to focus on the issues we're facing of things that we may have caused in the world, right?
Yeah.
So like
I've got
this shouldn't be the conversation. It should be fixing the issues, not hey, let's all stop having kids, and all of a sudden all these issues just go away, because they don't.
yeah. I've got like 2 points. First being like, just to get your well, okay. First, we'll say this. Um, Having children is the only thing that grows our economy. Like, not that everything has to be economic, but like economic growth is spurred by population growth. Like,
Yeah.
we want to keep, and I'm sure the people
We only
writing this
need, I
don't
mean, we
really
only
care about the
each really
market.
need one iPhone. If there's not new kids to get iPhones, then
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure the writers of Vogue don't really care about the markets, but I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, that's like what our whole everything is based off is growth. So
Mhm.
that would pose some problems. Secondly, so having a baby, obviously it's not environmental terrorism, right? Or vandalism.
It's
What do you think
terrorism.
of? You think it's irresponsible, say, for a couple to have 12 children? Do you
But
think
no,
there's ever a threshold of like children where it crosses over to be like, come on,
I
man, like
mean,
just like have
for
yours and
me, like I like four as a max number personally, but that's a you choice. Like, you have the freedom in this country to do that, and the trend right now is for people are having less and less kids. I mean, the census numbers just came out, and our population growth since 16 is downward sloping. I mean, obviously the numbers up, but the exponential rate is very far
the
down.
growth is declined.
Um, like it's definitely more in the taboo right now to be having more kids, but like that's up to you, and if you could support those kids, I'm all for it. But one, you should only be having kids if you can support them. If you can't support 12 kids, you shouldn't be having 12 kids. If you can't financially back that, you shouldn't be involved in it. Two, and then we obviously in this day and age just kind of have a looser culture. So there's a lot of people that have kids on accident. Um, and that ends up complicating things when they're not in a relationship, and then they up being with somebody else, having a kid with them, and you get this kind of, people have more kids because of that. And that's true, because you could have a kid. Say when I'm 18, I had a kid, right, out of a relationship, and all of a sudden I marry this chick, and I say I don't want to have any kids, but she says, "Hey, I want some kids." So then I may not want a kid, but she does. So it complicates the picture, right? When not everybody's on the same page with having kids. So that also produces more children in the long run, in my opinion. But I would like for me anything over like 4, I'm kind of like okay, you know. Maybe I don't get it, but man, I have neighbors that have 14, 15, maybe.
In their
I don't know
house?
what number. Yeah, yeah. I've known some big families, and I
Jeez.
think it's cool. Like, and they have the money to do it. The dad works at Microsoft or did for a long time, had a good gig. Um, like if that's what you want to do, I'm all for it. That's like you're right. Like, and some people believe that. There's a lot of faiths. I think especially in some tracts of Catholicism that believe it's kind of like a thing to have kids until you physically are unable anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Because population control is this big thing, and Bill Gates is always huge on that. Like we need to cap a limit on kids, but there's just no way to do that, and it's not right. Like you're free to do what you want, and it's hard to cap kids, especially in this culture now, because everybody's having kids out of wedlock and on accident. So it's kind of like, well, you just kill somebody if they have this kid, right? Like,
Yeah. They
do
could
you, do you
like
go kill them so they can't make any more kids, or I don't
they could
understand.
maybe
You lock them up.
de-incentivize it. They could give like cut off the child tax credit at like 4 or something. But then like
But
you're
then like
just like
it's also it gets
that's like
this is
like then
complicated.
they would call that
That's not
racist and like
freedom.
that would like target, inner city people who can't afford birth control. It'd turn into that. Like
It probably would turn to that. I don't
no
believe
good
in
way
a
to do it.
cap. I mean, I just believe in sensibly having
No
kids.
cap
Unless you're ready to have a kid to financially support said kid, you shouldn't have a kid. And if you're
and
engaging in
environmentally.
sex, then you inherently have that risk. And if you have a kid, deal with it. Like, I don't know what else to tell people.
Don't
But
have sex
this,
unless you got
I'm not.
stacked.
I'm not cool with this. Okay, moving on. Second one. I haven't opened this article, and I don't want to. But this is just the worst thing I've ever seen. Nothing captures how horny we all are like piss talk. Can you see that? Is it
How
popping up on the
Gen Z
screen?
is using P to destigmatize sex online. What does that even
One
mean?
second. Let me restream this because it's not. I'm
Like,
curious to read this after, but I also don't want to give them their penny for clicking on the ad. A deep dive into the P play TikTok and the memification of the kink.
are people posting themselves peeing on TikTok?
I mean, I would assume so, but you can't like post your stuff on TikTok, can you?
I don't think so. I've
I mean,
never
it's
seen it.
probably just like them just peeing, and you just see the stream or something.
So what?
Are
They're
you
just
into
trying to be
that?
like, no, I'm not into
I'll
peeing.
definitely.
I don't think I'll ever pee on someone.
This is history. History repeats itself. Okay, and I've said before
Repeat.
I hate that term because it's not true. The variables are different, but the general tone of history repeats itself. In that, I mean, look at ancient Rome. When Rome got so sex focused, it fell because that was its only. You're weak to your enemies when that's your only focus. But we're getting to the point where things have degraded so far when this is even a conversation. Like, if you want to do this, I don't care. Go do what you want. But just the idea of trying to push things like this in the mainstream, it's just like, get a life at some point. If you want to do that with whoever you're doing your stuff with, go ahead. But
I don't even say that. That's
we don't need to.
disturbing.
We don't need to create piss talk as a thing. But
That's disturbing. We gotta quit. I don't even know. We can't thinking with the. I don't even like that phrase. Like thinking with the wrong head. Like, but everything's sexualized. Look at it's like our boy Samson from the Bible. That dude was so dumb. Just kept thinking about sex with a whore, and Delilah cut his hair off.
cut his hair off. Yep. Can
He
never
had all the
trust these
time. He knew what
hoes.
he was doing, but we're
Last
too
one,
afraid.
quickly. It's not popping up on the stream. It's making me mad. Do it one more time. Sorry, everybody. Okay, it's going to pop up here. You guys see the other one, too. It's not very big, but I'm just going to read it. Babylon Beat. Chinese government lays off entire propaganda team as American media is doing their job for them. We're just going to give that one a very epic, and we're going to move on.
Very epic.
Very epic. All right. And with that, it is time for our first advertisement break. Got to pay the bills really quick. Today's sponsor, this one hits home, one of my favorite childhood companies. We have the Topps Company, which recently announced they are going public via special acquisition merger. So the current ticker is MUDS. You should buy the stock. We're going to the moon, baby. Went from 10, ran her up to like 1750. There's still time to hop on the train. That's right. Also, Topps giving out absolute crap every day, overproducing cards, any sport, anything you can think of. You can get a piece of cardboard for. It's awesome. Alternative investing. Buy everything. Stash in your closet. Buy the stock. And we're going to the moon. Thank you, Topps. Appreciate it. And with that,
thank you, Ben. Very cool. Thank you,
That's
Topps,
right.
to our sponsor. Just a little
for the
plug.
call.
I did
That's right.
buy several $100s worth of MUDs at about just under $11 now. It's $17.50
Yeah.
today. I got some mud in my khakis today at work when I saw it was up to $17.50. So it's a good 60%.
We love Topps. So. Thank you.
Very epic. Very cool.
We're going to get into big data for the day, and we've kind of had one topic that we're gonna try to take this in a lot of directions while keeping it coherent. So it's probably gonna be interesting. But we're gonna cover education, and we're gonna cover kind of the different tracks that what American education looks like right now, what the college system looks like right now, and kind of our thoughts on it. So getting into it, let's just start. I guess the question is, if you took, we're gonna start our discussion with this. Okay, if you take a 9th grader right now compared to a 9th grader 20 years ago, which one would you say is smarter? Like at that current time when they were in 9th grade, like just the average. So not the higher.
Are we talking like IQ? Because like, I mean, obviously there's like technological things that like, but like
that's true.
I think 20 years ago, there's probably a lot more integrity in education. Like a 9th grader at algebra 20 years ago, I'm sure was
true
10 times better than algebra now.
Let me rephrase this. Okay. True there. That's probably too wide of a range. Let's take 9th grader now, 9th grader 5 years ago, which is smarter in that current time.
I would think 5 years. Like, I don't want to disprove what you're... I would think people 5 years ago were smarter.
I would think so too. I don't have anything to back that up. I would just say what I've noticed in people and our education system consistently being downward sloping as being higher cost and worse outcome. Like it's literally this curve. It's a triangle getting bigger. So going from a young age, here's the problem, right? There's always this stigma, and both sides of the coin, because Democrats and Republicans don't do this. Trump is the exception. But it's always like increase education spending, okay? One is no matter how much money you dump into this current education system, it's not going to work. It's a bad system, period. Okay, it is a bad system. We are from preschool. Learning right now is solely focused on memorization, which is so archaic, right? Obviously, there's certain fields where you need to memorize things because you have to know them like that. So I'd say medical fields especially. Like if somebody comes in, they're having a heart attack, you got to know what to do right there, what to give them right there, okay? Different, okay? I'm talking for everything else. We have technology that aids you in the workplace. Like in all my accounting classes, all the teachers just say, hey, we're doing this manually, but like in real life, you have a system that just does this for you, right? So again, I'm not saying you shouldn't memorize things, but to me, the point of learning should be, hey, here's a concept, we're going to work through it, and can you apply it? Like application over memorization is my big thing. You need to know how to apply a concept. Like, here's the concept, now do it, rather than just, hey, could you tell me the concept?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all, I mean... We try to make it all about like book smarts, but even that like isn't smart. Like nothing we do is intuitive. And like, I mean, I could rip apart the college industry to shreds, and I will. But like,
we'll get to that point here in a minute.
It's just like we're not. Well, first of all, public schooling education is so awful. Like I mean, I went to like this like not even a good private school through 8th grade. Like it was just like small town. Probably crap compared to private schools in a city. It was nothing like that. But And I guarantee I would have got a higher ACT score as a seventh or an eighth grader than I did when I was a senior or a junior because I got stupider at a public high school. Like there's so much screwing around.
Yeah.
You take a class and you spend a whole semester in a keyboarding class learning how to write an email. Like, good morning, my name is Nick Saylor. It's such crap. All colleges is discussion boards. Like, I think right now, all you really learn in most classes is how to how to remember things, and how to write things. It's not. I didn't have to take math after my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
And I have a master's degree in business. How does that make any sense? Like, it's nuts.
That is crazy to think about. Yeah, it's not like, because when you get into college, for example, like we were both business majors, we definitely took things that like didn't apply to us. Like the gen ed structure, I don't think is necessarily great because you kind of get that in high school, or you should have at least. But yeah, like the idea that nobody's gonna need math is bad. Like you should definitely have to take math classes. You should definitely need. And you do. English is obviously important. Like learning how to write is very important. Because no matter what profession you're in, you need to be able to communicate your ideas authentically. That's always going to be a thing, right? But like you said, the college structure especially it's all like this book smart memorization rather than applying or rather than gaining any sort of street smart. And yeah, discussion boards, like that's so stupid. You should obviously be able to communicate with each other in class, but nobody really does that in a school setting. So they have these stupid boards. And the idea that you sit and waste your time and have to hit these word limits for no reason. It's like everything. Assignments are structured so like, here's a word limit, hit this word limit, rather than giving me something condensed that's more meaningful. Because people were taught to add all this fluff to stuff just to go for length. Nobody wants length. And even in work settings, they want to know the point and they want to know it now. They don't need some 7-page paper about it where half of it means nothing.
Like I'd be in a financial analyst class or whatever it's called, a financial management. You learn about ratios and stuff. Rather than like just giving me one problem and saying, compute the free cash flow for company A, right? Something that would actually, be something you might use someday. They say, write 300 words about free cash flow and why it's useful to know for a business.
Yeah.
Like that's all wrong. And so like back to the broader topic, like schooling in general should have two purposes in my mind. One, to make you a well-rounded individual. That's, college and like a liberal arts degree. There's that.
So I would before you go on, adding through that, a well-rounded individual through the public school system should be a goal as well, but go on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So for that reason, I can see why in high school you're taking literature. Great. Learn about, check out your interests. Maybe you'll love it. It was interesting to me, some of it. But then like the more important thing that like if people are paying for an education, I don't think it should be about becoming a well-rounded individual. It should be preparing you for to be useful to the real world.
Yeah.
And that is so far gone. You spend 2 years of tuition taking another history class, another lit class, a theater class, appreciation of film. Like, why are we wasting our time paying in college to take this shit?
Yeah.
It's so terrible. And I'm salty about it because I've got all this education, right? And it's not applicable. Nobody cares on a job application. Like all college is about is teaching you about something you're interested in, or all it should be about is teaching you about something you're interested in so you can provide value in the real world in a market that's needed and make more money because you did that and be more useful, be, positive on the, an economic profit to the world, but you're not because like you need technical skills. They want technical skills. There's a lot of degrees out there that don't give you technical skills and you're going to be stuck being a grunt in some like customer service role, like with a bachelor's degree.
Well, the problem is that the current college structure, with how gen eds are structured, it definitely encourages you, like, to be stuck there. Like, they want you as many years as possible to be paying them, which is bad. And that's largely been supported by the government because with how colleges are funded, I mean, it's kind of in that too big to fail. Like, they're free winners. There's artificial demand for college, which I'd like to get into deeper in a minute. But you get to the point, like, even the idea that we have to have summers off is crazy in my mind. Like, absolutely crazy. You should, I mean, if you do full semesters every summer, or at least take a few classes, whatever, I mean, that could get you out another 6 months earlier to where you could be a 6 months earlier productive human being and working and paying back your loans, you know? They want to keep you in this, like, hey, here's your summer break. You need to go party, do all this stuff, maybe get an internship, whatever. Rather
Yeah.
than actually teaching you, like, hey, you're going to have a school load, and maybe you could do an internship while you're having a school load. Like, learn to manage your time on your own, not us having to tell you about time management all the time. Actually figure it out yourself. Um, they just want to trap you. They want to suck your money in because you have these summer breaks. Then you got to go buy another parking pass for the next year when you could have been out a year earlier and you didn't need the fourth parking pass or all that stupid stuff. It's designed to nickel and dime you when really, I mean, I would argue that we should definitely have seasonal breaks in schools, but there shouldn't be some big summer break, in my opinion. But a lot of countries, the most successful countries in the world, look at all of Asia when it comes to education. They don't do that. Like, you're schooling year round. But like, obviously you do need some breaks, and it's logistically can be tough. But
Right. Maybe, trimesters a month at a
yeah,
time. And
I like the trimester structure personally.
that's
But
that's a problem because
there's
okay,
there's
schools are businesses,
yeah,
right?
which is
Businesses
the
care about
issue.
revenue.
That's the issue right there.
Right. And I'm for that reason, it's like, it's like you either got to fully privatize university or just make it complete social because if you privatize it, eventually, if everything's private, then prices are going to get driven down for consumers, right? But as long as there's free, fake bullshit money from the government, from FAFSA, from
Yeah.
nonprofit schools, from state schools that are funded, it's just boom, 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 boom. And then the only revenue in these businesses is students. So they're not incentivized to get you out quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
totally
know,
agree. Yeah, we've kind of been in this weird middle ground, and like I said, the demand is artificial because the idea that the government will automatic, like the current cap as of a few years ago was like 60,000 in student loans you can get just for a bachelor's, available basically to anyone. Like, it's just a free loan. Is crazy. Like, loaning that much money to a kid that's probably 17 coming into high school that just wants to party and has no idea what they want to do with their life is absolutely terrible. And it's created this insane artificial demand. It's why everybody has these worthless degrees now. And it's why a lot of these colleges, well, pre-COVID, I know COVID's shaking it up, but they're bigger than ever. I mean, you got that, like the NCAA, unrelated, this is sports, but making millions and millions and millions of revenue. Obviously, it's not really, going right into their pockets. At least they say so. It's going back into the school, but off of people that they're covering their $40,000 tuition for. That's it. But
well,
it's like this big game of these schools raking a lot of money, and just because they reinvested or gave it to their employees, obviously there's no actual profit. But
and here's something crazy is if if a kid asks me advice, 17, 15, whatever,
gap year.
if they ask what to do, my first question is going to be, do your parents have college money saved up for you? And this is a point I'm going to make that is going to prolong college being a thing, or not college being a thing, but the system existing as it is. If a kid doesn't have any money saved up for them, they undoubtedly should go to a technical school and get a technical degree, or a 2-year school, something like
Community
that. Community college, or get a technical degree, learning something that teaches you actually a skill.
Yeah.
Problem arises when these kids got several tens of thousands of dollars saved by their parents, which their parents who save for college, great job. You did what you thought was right for your kids. Parents of us 30 years ago, 20 years ago, could graduate and actually get a good paying job because they went to college.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore, but parents are still saving gobs of money for, their kids to go to school, which sounds great, but all it is going to do is enable or even make it incentivize kids making inefficient decisions to go to 4-year schools, because it's like, well, I've got $60,000 saved for me. Why would I go get a $20,000 degree, for technical? So they're going to go to 4-year schools. It's the intentions of parents are correct, and grandparents want their kids to go to college. It's such a societal thing that used to work. That's just complete crap right now.
Yeah.
but it's a conundrum. There's so many dollars already devoted to it.
So if I were to be asked that same question by somebody, say a senior in high school or late in high school, right? I would have a few options. First, I would tell them you need to be reading a lot, and you need to like look at your life and actually figure out, no matter what it is, what you enjoy doing, and what that can relate to degree wise if you decide to go to college. Okay, because so many people, myself included, jumped on something I didn't really know, so just kind of went with something that I do like, but I didn't really know fully what I was getting myself in for until like the last year. I
Yeah.
love business. Okay, I do like business, but I just don't think business programs really do much for you. We could talk about that in a minute. Two, I would say like honestly think about a gap year. If you don't know what you want to do at all, don't just go somewhere to go somewhere because you're wasting more time in the long run rather than just taking that gap year and maybe working. You obviously would need to make sure that your ACT score doesn't expire depending on when you took it because I think it's a 2 year until the score isn't like good or acceptable. You need to think about what scholarships still look like. Most schools will still give you the full incoming freshman scholarships even if you had a gap year. So if you don't know definitively what you want to do, take a gap year and actually get jobs, like part-time jobs, jobs that you'll probably end up hating a couple months in because that will make you realize that you want to aspire for something better for yourself, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then three, I would say there's such a stigma around it. Well, both of these, technical school, doing a 2 year tech school, or going to a community college for 2 years first, then transferring to a big university, right? Like save the money. The gen eds don't matter. The gen eds, like if you can go to a community college and save the money and just knock out your gen eds, I wish I would have done that so
Yeah.
badly because it is such a waste. Those are waste of your time no matter what. So there's no reason to be paying just an insane amount of money to do it at a bigger university because you're learning the same thing.
Yeah.
I know there's a stigma around it. There's like the social stigma, but that's also the problem with school too is from the time you're very young to college, it's all social. It's really not about the learning, and that's just kind of the mindset we have in this country over other countries. Again, especially Asia. Asia, it's about learning. No matter where you are, Japan, China, a lot of the Asian region, it's about learning first. Everything else is second, which I wish we had here. Obviously, the social aspects are good and making friends. I mean, that's how I met you is through school, so that's a big blessing
Hmm.
that Mobab gave me. But um, it's just like I don't know. But okay, I want to tie a little bow on this with if you were elected into the Department of Education today, which I think that's a scam also. We can get into that in a minute. You're the head of it. What are you doing from preschool to college to improve the education system? You don't have to like give me every step of the way, but like what are a couple things you do that you think would change the way that like
Um.
just creating smarter Americans, more educated people.
All right. I hate that this is a well. There's a few things. Maybe I might actually shorten the school day, make it quality over quantity. You don't need 8 hours to teach kids something. So that's like one like just idea that could be good. And I hate that this is a buzzword, but STEM type things like not. I'm very STEM focused right now because that's what I wish I had kind of incorporated into my education. But like you we talk there's so many commercials and ads about how important STEM is and learn STEM online, learn to code. Why don't we teach them to code in school? Like everyone knows it's important, but we're still like sitting them down and reading stupid books and making them do book reports and like
Yeah.
that's probably important for kids, but I'm just saying like throw them in front of they're on their computer anyway, like get some programs that
Yeah.
kids can like, and then high school, I really think high school is, important to be developed into a functioning human. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not saying you got to be learning Python in high school, right? But like, I don't think high school it needs to change. It needs to have some more like requirements of actual work to be done and things to be done rather than, or
Yeah.
maybe more options to, if you want to be in the medical field, well, why high schoolers don't take medical classes? Why not? Why not give some like pre-med class in high school?
Mhm. Yeah.
Stuff like that, just a little more focused and focus on like learning rather than like performing papers and homework.
Yeah. Well, okay. I love all those. Does that wrap up what you want to say? Cause I'll get into mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, So like day one. Okay, first off, we're gonna start with the federal government has no place in education. It's a state thing. Every state has a Department of Education. Let the states do what they want. There should be no federal mandation. If I was in the government, first off, I'd bulldoze that department. That'd be one of the first to go. But because the states all do it anyways, redundant, waste of taxpayer money. Um, and it gets into that indoctrination when the federal government's mandating what everybody learns. Very bad. Let the states decide. But so going to this first, shorten the school day is a big one because there's a lot of monotony and a lot of wasted time with how schools are structured. Like there's just so much wasted time. Quality over quantity is big, and I think that would keep kids a lot more engaged too for the time they're there. Because I mean, which I was homeschooled my whole life, so I was never sitting in a classroom for 8 hours. But I can imagine by hour 3, you just want to be over and you just want to blow
long ass time.
That is a long time, yeah. So that's step one. Step two, we would be completely focused on. There's just a lot of BS content right now. It'd be a lot of American history, okay? Actual American history, the big picture, not just taking one area like critical race theory and only looking at the 60s and that's all we study. Yes, we need to talk about that, but we need to talk about American history. You need to know where we came from. That is very important in creating good citizens for the country. 2, completely, like you mentioned, STEM focused. Like, we need to be teaching kids technical skills from a very early age. That means math, that means science, that means stuff like coding, right? And there's ways you can engage kids with that. You could make, I mean, hell, there's so many video games. You could create video games that have learning incorporated and use that to great success. I know they were doing that with Minecraft for a while. I don't know how that panned out, but there's so many kids that if it was in a setting they understand, would love to learn. Like, I guarantee it. And then so that's kind of through, I'd say, like 8th grade, right? As we're teaching kids technical skills, getting more well-rounded, and also there is a social aspect. You want them to be able to be around other human beings that get along, okay? Are things like PE really needed? I mean, yeah, it's fun. It breaks up your day, but I think that's more of a you thing rather than taxpayers paying for that, personally. Going to high school should be, I think high school should have a little more of a college structure in the sense that, like, hey, maybe the first year of high school as a freshman, we're going to figure out what you're interested in. And then you have different avenues you could take. So think majors, kind of. But like you said, if you think you're interested in something medical, we can have your core classes, but you also get these medical classes as well. If you think you're business tailored, if you think whatever it is, right, you can kind of have these avenues where it exposes you to that further, so you know if you like it or not. But then you also have your core, like, your history, your literature, your STEM. I think literature is important. I think there's maybe too much of it, but you do need to know how to read, comprehend. And then this one thing that's lacking, like, I don't even know if it exists anymore, is logic. There used to be actual logic classes, and I don't know if there's logic anything throughout all 12 grades now, which is terrible.
Why would we? You can't have logic when in a society that has no moral absolute.
That's true. So that would be bad right now because the logic would just be terrible, but it'd be all circular. But
you can't actually prove something to be true.
I think so. The main point of high school should be helping kids figure out what they like and then how they can convert that into a career. Easier said than done, but it's not a good thing when you have a kid that graduates and they're told to be applying for colleges like by junior year. Like you should already be in the process. And it is not good when you're about to lock into paying, say $60,000 in loans to some college and you've no clue what you want to do. You may have not even chosen the right school for what you want to do. That is such a bad concept. They're letting kids make that decision that young, and that you're giving them the money line to make that decision that young and to go into debt that they don't understand. Because most kids, finance should be a big thing too. We should be teaching practical skills of how to save, of what investing looks like, of what paying your rent looks like, of what leasing a car looks like, all that type of stuff. We should be teaching you how to do it, like actually how to do it, how to start an IRA from a young age, how to save money, how to budget. Personally, like personal finance is big, and any personal finance classes always drop the ball. It's just calculate compound interest for.
They literally still teach you how to balance checkbooks.
Yeah, which is just insanity. So there's a lot of things that are just lacking, and we continue to spend more and more and more in schools and get poor results. And the problem is funding structures are solely based off like map testing and grades. Like how well your school can do on these standardized tests is what funding the school will get. So bad. I mean, again, the whole structure for all classes should be application over memorization. And then that applies for college as well. You kind of already covered the college stuff, so I don't want to go too deep into that because we're running high on time. And we didn't even get into what's being taught now. Maybe it's a conversation for another day. Like now it's just all, there's a big push for critical race theory being the majority of the curriculum. And that's just insanity because one, most of it is bad history. And two, you're not teaching kids anything, not how to do anything. And that is just a very scary situation we're getting into when there's going to be a lot of even more low-skilled, low-IQ workers that end up in the workforce. And there's no jobs for them in this day and age. It's not going to. So, you know what? I think we covered that pretty well, Nick. I enjoyed it. Ready to move on?
Good segment. We could talk for an hour on that. We got about 10 minutes on the podcast left. So let me pay the bills here. I'm going to share my screen so we can get a good visual here. So a huge thank you goes out to sponsor of Robot Mentality, Corner Scoop Creamery. This is very close to home for me. This is located in Pound Town, Wisconsin. Corner Scoop Creamery Estate 2019. You will get the best scoop of ice cream you've ever had in your life at Corner Scoop. It also is a barn. There's probably a chicken coop in the back, it looks like. The drive-through, the clearance is only 6'9", so half the people who have jacked up trucks in this town may not be able to fit through. So you might want to park and walk up to the walk-up window. They charge much too little on their ice cream. You can get 3 cones of ice cream for only about $7. I have told them that they need to raise their prices before. They charge like they're in the 60s. But Corner Scoop Creamery, homemade ice cream. They also have coffee and scones, muffins, and the like in the morning. And also have Collectivo coffee, which I've tried as well. It's very good. Corner Scoop Creamery, thank you for the sponsor. Thank you for giving me great ice cream every time I go visit Pound Town. Anytime I need to go up a quick trip to Pound Town. Corner Scoop Creamery, everyone.
Man, I want to go to Corner Scoop Creamery now.
You gotta come up to. I'm gonna take you to Pound Town sometime.
Corner Scoop Creamery. Is there like a bench where you can sit and hold hands and scoop our ice cream?
They have like giant. I don't know if you ever seen these. They're like wood spools that used to have like copper wire around it. Those are the tables.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's funny.
No, it's like a very. It's unique, not wholesome. A great location. It's just a little. Yeah, it is wholesome, and like I'm not lying. Literally, like the best ice cream I've had of anywhere.
Damn,
so good.
$7 so too for one scoop at like a. And granted, they claim to be like high quality type of stuff. Like one scoop of like Cold Stone will run you at like $9.
No, I'm saying you get 3 cones for $7.
No, I know. Like I'm saying it's a great price compared to what you'd get around here. No, even if you go to something like Culver's, you'd probably pay like $5 for a cone.
Yeah, literally like a $2 cone. So they're great. Well, I'll take you up to Pound Town, and I'll take you over to
Sailor taking me to Pound Town, baby.
I think just to save some time here, or let's cut parting thoughts. Let's do get rich quick, and then let's do our proverbs and kind of let that be our closing thought.
I'm fine with that. So for get rich quick, this one I'm going to lead this one a little bit, and we've talked about cryptocurrencies before, but name of the game is I bought these NFTs, these Topps NFTs. I should have held them because the prices have only gone up, so I sold them early, but I just want to get in and out. Paid $50 for these NFT packs of cards that I didn't open. I sold the packs for like $250, so 5 times my money in a day, which I was cool with. And now it would be like $500 if I waited, so I probably should have waited. But first off, cryptocurrency. I learned why it's in demand because on this NFT marketplace, they have their own currency called Wax. Okay, so you have to use USD to buy Wax. If you sell your NFTs, you get Wax. Okay, then if you want to get your money, your Wax coins back to US dollars in your bank, you have to go through an intermediate broker, and that intermediate broker only trades coins. So you could transfer from this marketplace your Wax balance, so that's a coin, to your intermediate broker. Now you have that coin in your intermediate broker. And there, you could transfer your coin to other types of coins that are listed on that broker. So, for example, this one, the easiest way they said to do it was to Bitcoin. So, in the intermediate broker, you take your one coin, your wax, that's the type of coin, transfer to Bitcoin, and then you can take that Bitcoin and transfer it to a main broker. And a main broker you can link to your bank. So, a main broker is where you can go coin to currency, and then you can take currency to your bank and pull it out. Okay, so again, it's terrible because all these platforms have different partnered coins, and they all take a ton of fees when you transfer from one broker to another. They call it gas fees. It's like a joke. It's costly to do it. You literally, if you don't want to lose a ton of money transferring from the marketplace through the middle step, through the main broker, back to money, you have to sit and Google what coins are linked to what platforms and what can I trade for low fees, and it's very stupid, okay? But we're just going to focus on intermediate broker for a second. I realized why it's so popular because I can literally, with my wax coin that I had, okay, I could trade it, instantly change it to Bitcoin, flip it to Ethereum, flip it to Cardano, flip it to SafeMoon, flip it right back to wax, flip it to Dogecoin. I could do it like that, right? And it gets to the point where you literally don't leave a trail. Like, you could just sit and flip it into a million things, and there's no way that anybody could find that, especially because these intermediate brokers claim to be completely decentralized, and a lot of them can be foreign as well. So there's nobody in the U.S. government that's going to be able to pull their information, first off. Like, you could just sit and... It's actually crazy how quickly you could just... Any time of the day, market never closes. Boom, 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 boom. So that's kind of my gripe with crypto at the moment is like, I think there's demand for it because it's such like, it's a scam in the sense that if you want to launder money or clean money or whatever, you can hide it perfectly in these intermediate brokers, like perfectly.
It's like a question, so I think most people now think that cryptocurrency is something of the future. So that's like the first I've ever heard of people actually using it as currency. So it's like, is that enough? Is the drive of people wanting to launder money or do like weird transfers, is that a big enough catalyst to get everyone to use it? It could be. It could be. I mean, that's an application. Like Mark Cuban tweeted last night about Dogecoin. These guys pumping these cryptos.
And they know that one's shit too. They know it.
They douchebags. I love Mark Cuban, but like, why are you pumping Dogecoin? He's like saying how like vendors take Dogecoin and stuff. It's like, come on, like, and then just all these dudes. I think this is a huge pump game, right?
It is.
For all sorts of stuff, and like Elon, it's amusing. I like Elon Musk, but it's just a little goofy. So a huge speculative bubble, but like I think it's gonna be a thing. Like I just don't know to what extent. Governments don't want to they can't regulate it. They don't want to allow it. Like in Turkey is not allowing it.
Well, what they'll do is tax the hell out of it when you transfer it back to a usable currency here. So it does pose a threat when places are actually accepting these coins now as payment. That does pose a threat to the government. I think there's benefits and negatives. Obviously, there's a benefit in that I think it is good that things can be decentralized. But again, we've had this conversation before where there's still never going to be the utility of a Bitcoin as there is to the US dollar if you're in the United States, as far as what can be accepted, of what you're actually paying for. Like, until you can pay your mortgage in Bitcoin and go to the grocery store and buy your food in Bitcoin, it's just not feasible. Like, I can't comprehend how it will be feasible as a currency.
I think,
especially with the volatility, when there's never really a set price for it, it's always changing. So transactions will have to be a lot faster.
That could be closer than you're thinking. Like,
yeah, no, it could be.
It's like Vlad from Robinhood tweeted how they're like working to get like Bitcoin or cryptos to be usable, like with vendors. And like, you think about it, like the grocery store can have the conversion rate, but it might just
something in real time.
Your groceries are $55. That converts to 0.00186 Bitcoin.
They'd have to have live tickers on every tag. They have to be little screens. So seriously,
they
really would. Bitcoin, they really would, because it never stays.
Bitcoin's down 5% since you left for the grocery store. You'd be like, no, I'll just pay with cash.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, Who knows?
The
But
thing is, apparently, so there's this rumor that a couple African countries are apparently looking to make cryptocurrencies, and it's solely a rumor, uh, looking to make a certain cryptocurrency its official currency, which I can't even comprehend how a government could take something decentralized and make it an official currency. But
well, Africa's done some weird stuff. Like they did M-Pesa in Venezuela when their
yeah,
currency crashed. It's just cell phones with money on it.
yeah, but that was like their thing they created. It's not like they were taking
Yeah.
something that already exists and pulled it in. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as far as the US dollar becoming digital, we're basically to that point, which that's a whole case in itself and discussion for another day of why I think that's actually a really bad thing. But um, it's just like, I don't know. It was kind of cool just to like have to down, because to get my stuff out of the marketplace, you have to take a billion steps. And it's not designed, these coins and these marketplaces that use cryptocurrencies are designed to be something you put your money into, and it's extremely difficult to get your money out. That's solely by design. They want you to keep feeding the machine. They don't want you to get out of it, right? Because you got to prop their currency being valuable by staying in it. So it's designed to make you take a million steps through a million brokers, pay a ton of fees along the way to get your stuff out, which is absolute BS. But that structure also allows for you to like, you can hide your stuff pretty well. It'd be pretty simple. So after seeing that, I think it's interesting though. It's like, it's actually interesting. And again, I don't have much experience with crypto, but to actually like have had used a couple of these brokers and kind of seen how the stuff kind of works, it is interesting. Like I see why there's a demand for it, but
Yeah. Yeah. It really is interesting. Like right before we wrap up, I'll just say another way that's interesting. It's open 24/7. So like I've been like just screwing around with like some day trading. I was telling Ben earlier, just for the hell of it, like just for fun. And like if you like day trade or if you like trading,
yeah,
crypto's always moving.
yeah,
So you can literally sit 24/7 and just trade
kind of
cryptos
cool.
back and forth.
I think it's
Try to
cool.
shave.
It's gonna be the future, but again, deeper discussion for another day. Just short coverage there.
Right.
But getting into the proverb, Nick, you like to bat us off. We're gonna close with this one today, folks. So extra powerful proverbs from your boys today.
Yeah, and maybe give a little parting thoughts off a proverb if you'd like.
All right, all right.
I've got a few that I liked, but I am going to say a ship in the harbor is safe. This is a little cheesy. A ship in the harbor is safe, but it's not what ships are built for. So
yeah, I like
cheesy,
that.
but just go find your purpose and do it. And like even like I was kind of thinking how this tied with the whole college thing is they say like getting a business administration degree is the safe way to fall back, and it's like you can make more money going and working in a factory than you can with what you're going to get entry level business. So like just go try to like do something that you're made for, push yourself, learn something important, get out of the harbor, test your limits. And
I
then
like that
another
a lot.
proverb.
I like that a lot because even if you're a ship that goes and crashes, and you were at least fulfilling your purpose,
At least you did something.
Yeah. So
rather, yeah. So yeah,
I
that's
like
that.
Very inspirational. Mine doesn't relate at all, but it's a very true quote. It's actually unknown. I don't remember where I saw this, but it's easy to judge in leisure what men had to do in haste. So I guess that kind of just piggybacks off, like hindsight's 20/20, right? Until you're in somebody's shoes who had to make a quick decision, it's tough to really get on them too much. It obviously depends on the context, but just I guess the name of the game there is try to step into somebody's shoes before you want to kind of denigrate them. But no matter what it is, just sympathy, empathy. What's the difference between those two anyway? Thought those were kind of
sympathy is like when you feel bad for somebody, and
empathy when you try to feel their emotion.
Feel bad with them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I love that quote though, because it is. Yeah, I mean, really, this is the hindsight 20/20 thing. You can always look back on something or look back on somebody else did and judge it easily without understanding it. Maybe it was wrong, but there's a reason why things happen. You got to kind of look into the psyche of somebody else if you're gonna get anywhere. So
robot mentality. We do the right things, but we also we empathize. You're not being a robot. You're not just we're not hard.
Yeah, we have emotions. That's right.
Have emotions.
We do have emotions. And with that, Mr. Naylor, this has been Robot Mentality Season 2, Episode 6. That's Ben.
I'm Nick.
No,
Or
you're
he's
supposed to say
Nick.
he's Nick. Let's go.
Okay.
Almost got it right. We will
Thanks for
see you
watching.
next Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your night, robots. Grace and
Peace.
peace.